Squids and Octopi. After 5 weeks of 10 sets and build-up, the CCA League playoffs are here. This week, we saw the start of peak Collegiate Splatoon playout with extreme upsets and insane games to boot. That's not even mentioning the 2 top-level tournaments, Insane LAN, and more that made this one of the best weeks yet for competitive Splatoon. Hi, my name is Rocket, and let's break it down here in the Weekly Ink. Starting with Paddling Pool as always, this week saw 17 teams show up to try to get their badge. Ultimately though, the event ended up going to Lazarus, who made a very comfortable run through winner's bracket, taking sets on 23 SIBH, Distinct, Casablanca, and most importantly, Silksong 2025 in order to get their win. Congratulations to Lazarus on their run. Later that evening, SwimmerSync 183 ran and saw another top-level pickup take the win with me and my girls, made up of Harshi, Liam, Henlo, Yeti, and Tiki Taka winning it all. After dominating pools and sweeping through brackets, the team took the event with a 3-1 on Healthy Diet Food Groups in Grand Finals, securing Harshi his 16th SOS win. I mean, that is ridiculous. Apparently, bro does not ever get bored of winning these events, but congratulations on that 16th win, Harshi, and congratulations to the rest of me and my girls. Now, that'll wrap it up for our weekly, so we'll move on to a very special event from Dapple, the Golden Trident Cup 100. For their 100th edition of Trident Cup, Dapple Productions ran a special charity tournament with a unique, one-of-a-kind Golden Trident Sendu badge for the winners. Because of this, we saw a lot of top-level teams and pickups come out and support the cause. Top-level EU team Condon had quite the run this event, taking sets over strong teams and pickups like Too Slow, Chingo and the Stances, and Casablanca, ultimately making it to 3rd place. However, the real highlight of this event were the sets between top-level pickups Foodies and El Drago, who played 3 sets against one another. In their winners' final sets, El Drago got a pretty dominant 3-1 win on the number 1 seed, ultimately forcing him down to losers. However, after a quick set against Condon, Foodies made their way back up to Grand Finals where they returned the favor with a fast 3-0. In the bracket reset, it ended up being a 3-0 sweep in favor of the Foodies, ultimately earning them their win. Congratulations to Harshi, Clef, Chara, and Liam on their exclusive badge, and thank you for Dapple for running 100 amazing Trident Cups. Later on that weekend, we got another major top-level event within the zone number 42. As always, Sendu's Major brought in all of the strongest players from NA and EU to compete for the elusive prize pool, with many strong teams such as Vanguard, New Meta, Atlas, the Glacier's Might, and more, not even making it to top 4. A team who did was none other than Healthy Diet Food Groups, who has really begun to make their case for being a top-level team. They successfully took sets on Vanguard, New Meta, Underworld, and more in order to work their ways to loser semis, where they were double eliminated by Blue's Clues. Speaking of which, this pickup managed to make their way to finals pretty easily, which makes sense given the player lineup, where they faced down none other than FT Win. Coming in from losers, the Clues would have to take 2 sets on the best NA Splatoon team of all time if they want to get the win. A very daunting task, but if anyone could do it, it would be the pickup of world champions and the best in the West. Set 1 was actually really close, going to a tense Game 5 on Mincemeat Metalworks. When the dust settled ultimately though, Blue's Clues just managed to squeak out the win, taking it to set 2. Unfortunately, the second set was not as close, with FT Win showing why they're the greatest ever due to taking that set 3-1. Well played to both, and congratulations to FT Win for the ultimate win in the tournament. It was such a treat to see you play again. For our final tournament of the week, we have a big one, the Big Dapple number 7. This event was a qualifier for the Splatoon 3 LAN Championship, with the winning team earning slot number 6 for the Invitational. The second place team, Hottest Dogs, had quite the run after a loss to Glub Glub in round 1 of the bracket. Their 3-set run through losers saw them take games over Slugma Males, Fuego Calamari, and Lock In order to make it back to Grands and face down Glub Glub once again. Unfortunately, yet again, they met their match as Glub Glub got a clean 3-0 sweep, ending the Dogs' run. Congratulations to Balloon, Nolan, Keen, and Storm for earning their place in the LAN Championships. We can't wait to see you play. That's it for our standard tournaments. Now, onto the leagues. Much like how we skipped CCA last week, we're gonna skip Ludi this week, as playoffs will begin very soon, and we'll go into full detail on every div in the next episode. Starting with Division 8, sets were pretty dominant between teams during round 1. Catfish got a clean 5-0 sweep on Tentacoolers. EA UCD Splatoon Blue 5-1 It's as Shrimple as That, and the Plattsburgh Cardinals managed to secure a 5-1 over Blind Salamanders. The only particularly close set was between Crawtator-inators, say that 5 times fast, and Jelly Nose Calamari, which went to a 5-4 in the Craw's favor. Next week, they'll be playing Catfish to try to secure their spot in Grands, while EA UCD is playing the Cardinals to do the same. Division 7 was much the same in terms of dominant sets, with not a single one going past the Game 7. Both Do Leaf Sheep Dream of Sleep and Grilled Cheese Sliders got 5-0s over their respective opponents, and Niner Esports and MTSU Blue did the same with 5-2s. Hopefully this makes next week a little bit more competitive for the bracket now that the stronger teams have worked their way up. Division 6 was thankfully a lot closer. While Farmingdale State Rams did still get 5-0'd by Stingray Incorporated, the rest of the sets were a lot closer. High Tide got a 5-1 on DPU Chicago Trans Inc. Authority. Splat SCAD Yellow played a tight 5-3 against High Tide Terps, and IVC Stingrays won a very close 5-3 against RIT Black Sea Dragons. Next week's bracket sees the Great Stingray off between IVC and Stingray Inc., so we're excited to see who comes out on top and makes it to Grands. Division 5 puts us halfway through our divs and saw quite the shakeup with round 1. Wave Riders got upset by PSU Fish 4-5, putting them up against NCCS Splat Llamas next week. Stu secured a 5-3 on Cut the Hook, and TAMU White managed to get a clean 5-0 on U-Deep. Division 4 was something of a bloodbath for round 1. Not a single set was even close, with Goomies, CSU LB Black, and RIT Orange Kois all getting 5-0s to make their ways into semifinals. IPL's very own Ranny played with BSU Grizz Taco, also got a dominant 5-1 over their opponents, putting them up against Goomies next week to try and fight for their spot in Grands. Good luck, big man. We hope to see you go all the way. Div 3 was similarly not close. UTK Feeders got a 5-1 on CSU LB Gold. DPU Chicago Squid Hole kept up their dominance with a 5-1 on Oklahoma. Creamed Corn fell 0-5 to We Aquatic Little Creatures, and Gold Barracuda locked in a 5-2 over UGA Black. Next week should be a little bit more interesting for this division overall, with the set between UTK and DPU being a special highlight. Check it out if you can. Division 2 is where things start really getting good, with every set being down to the wire. H-Town Rebels had quite the upset over Banana Split, just barely managing to squeeze out a 5-4 to keep their bracket alive. Octos and Squid United Scarlet did much the same against the Tosin Tiger Sharks, and so did the Reef Runners against California Rollers. The set between Daybreak and Smash Brothers was the only one that didn't go to Game 9, with Smash earning a 5-3 to get them into semis. That of course leaves us with Div 1. The bracket for this division works a little bit differently, with 6 teams making it to playoffs, and the top 2 teams, this year PSU Blue and Death Roll, getting to skip round 1. VCU Big Fat Sea Cows just barely managed to win a 5-4 over UCSD Esports in order to play against Death Roll next week. As the 2 teams who played one another in Grands last year, this set will be one to watch. Will the Sea Cows get their revenge, or will the Gators get another easy meal? As for the other side of the bracket, it wasn't particularly close. Arc Haley 5-0'd Old Bay Brigade to earn their spot against PSU Blue next week, and see if they can stand against the insane X-Blow Rush double shot comp that has carried them this far. At this point, only time will tell. On that note, that just about wraps up our week. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, and consider becoming a channel member to get your name on screen just like all these awesome people here. Plus, a ton of other perks. It helps us a ton in our goal to support and grow the community as much as we can, and we put a lot of effort to making sure it's worth your while. We'll see you next time, same place, next week. Thanks for watching.